Most of us, especially in youth, think we know everything. Then life just laughs and thoroughly kicks you in the ass. Maybe, just maybe, after going through enough of life's ass kickings, the idea might begin to dawn on you that maybe you don't know nearly as much as you think you do. Hello, my name is Ernest. Welcome. Let's jump right into this. For those of you that have been listening to what I've had to say about life, particularly as what concerns using advanced perception to improve it, this may come as a surprise to you. But I never intended for anyone to believe that using advanced perception should be first and foremost in their lives. It is simply an extremely effective tool to help you survive and prosper through life's many ups, downs, and extreme challenges that inevitably come your way. Nothing more. Now, I don't want to imply that advanced perception is the only tool in the toolbox of life to help you get through it. The primary importance is always awareness of the will. Here is a little visual for your mind's eye that I believe should be more effective to help you quickly and easily conceptualize what I'm about to say, rather than a long explanation would, because I want you to get the concept, not fall asleep. Let's say you're hungry, so you want to eat an apple, because you recognize that obviously an apple is food. So you know you have to consume the apple because the apple has vitamins, minerals, and calories. But very few people, if anyone for that matter, would attempt to consume the apple by simply swallowing it whole. Not only because it would be very difficult for your stomach and digestive tract to process the apple, but the very high probability that you could probably die by choking trying to swallow a whole apple. Most people, even on an intuitive level, understand this, unless, of course, you're Robert Kennedy Jr. So, of course, you bite into, chew up, and begin swallowing the apple, the process of eating the apple. You are breaking down the apple into pieces and parts that the digestive process can begin in turn breaking down even further in the stomach, which in turn gets further processed through the large and small intestinal tract, which in turn it gets continuously processed and broken down into smaller and smaller components, which eventually ends up feeding us. This process is pretty much the same for everything we consume. And that is essentially what keeps us alive. I'm sure that just about all of you understand this, uh, except Robert Kennedy Jr., of course. But the process goes deeper, much deeper. This process continues not just on the initial biological level I just described, but on the atomic level, then to the subatomic level. And you can now think of those particles as food, if you will. Those atomic and subatomic particles are what essentially feeds the will. But it's what's in conjunction with that, the elements that are what also feeds the will, which in very broad terms is what determines not only your state of being alive, but your character, or what is otherwise commonly recognized as a person's strength of character. It is not what creates you per se, but it is what actually actualizes and facilitates what you are. Now, what is incredibly important to understand here is that if you didn't know what I just told you, you simply don't understand what it is exactly you're doing, or perhaps not doing in your life moments. And that is a very important thing. What I'm trying to illustrate here is that you act or react to whatever is going on in your life based on your knowledge of how you perceive what's going on around you. A very simple example of this, which just about everyone on the planet now understands, that when your stomach is growling without going into all the biological processes taking place that causes that, the vast majority of us would understand we're hungry. We know that we need to eat. Hell, I'd be willing to bet that even Robert Kennedy Jr. could figure that out. But what if you didn't know that? Now, I fully realize the question I just asked seems silly, but I'm trying to illustrate a point. The only way a person can pretty much trust their perception of reality is after they have learned the methodology to verify that their interpretation of any given situation or reality is correct. To put this another way, as succinctly as possible, dealing with the many aspects of your life without learning how to learn rather than what to learn would be like me describing and asking you to find an object you've never seen before in your life in a room you've never been in blindfolded. If I could just take a moment for this pitch. Here's the amazing and incredible Earnest Mann tote bag. Christ. Which can be all yours for a very reasonable donation by just clicking on the link in the description below. It's sturdy and holds a lot of ramen noodles. No, seriously, it holds a lot of ramen noodles. I believe that you would have to agree with me that your chances of finding that particular object would be very low, to almost impossible. And that is the primary reason, the domino effect, if you will, why you're not getting anywhere, as you can't learn anything if you don't know how to learn. Or in conclusion, I would just like to put this one more way. This would be like someone standing right beside a beautiful, nice, shiny car, telling the person standing next to them all the places they plan to go and see and experience. But what the other person listening doesn't know is that the person telling them this has never even driven a car in their life, and they don't even have a driver's license. I hope you found this helpful, or at least interesting. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to me via my website, link in the description below. And if you really want to give me a compliment, telling a friend about the show would be the best compliment you could ever give me. Until next time, this is Ernest, and that's all I've got for today.